You see this? Someone just pulled out their phone and took 17 photos of their lunch. 17. In about 10 seconds. They looked at them, deleted the bad ones, filtered the good one, and posted it online. Let me tell you something. That is not how we took photos. When I was growing up, taking a photograph wasn't casual. It wasn't automatic. It was an event, and you better believe you took it seriously. Because back then, every single photo cost money. Every single click of that shutter meant you were one step closer to running out of film. And once you were out, that was it. No more pictures until you could buy another roll and load it into the camera. For the next 20 minutes, I'm going to take you back to what photography was really like in the 1960s, 70s, and 80s. And I promise you, by the end of this, you'll never take your smartphone camera for granted again. Because back then, we didn't just take photos, we earned them. Let's start with the camera itself. Now, the camera your family owned wasn't some sleek little device that fit in your pocket. This thing was a machine. It was heavy, it was clunky, and it had more buttons and dials than you knew what to do with. Most families had what they called a 35mm camera. That's the film size. And that camera was usually kept in a special case, sometimes with a strap, and it only came out for special occasions. Birthdays, holidays, vacations, graduations. That's when the camera came out. You didn't take it everywhere because, first of all, it was bulky, and second, film was expensive. You weren't wasting film on random moments. Every photo had to count. Let me describe what it was like to actually use one of these cameras. First, you had to load the film. And this wasn't just popping in a memory card. Oh no, you had to open the back of the camera, thread this strip of film through these little sprockets, make sure it was lined up correctly, close it back up, and then advance the film until it was ready. And you better hope you did it right. Because if you didn't load it correctly, you'd take all your photos and then find out later that the film never advanced. Every single shot? Blank. Gone. Wasted. Once you had the film loaded, you had a limited number of shots. 12 exposures, 24 exposures, or if you were really living large, 36 exposures. That number on the top of the camera would count down with every photo you took. And you watched that number. You were always aware of how many shots you had left. We've only got 8 pictures left. Make them count. Today, your phone can hold thousands of photos. Thousands. You don't even think about it. Back then, you had 24 chances. 24 moments you could capture before that roll was done. And taking the actual photo, that was a process. First, you had to focus, manually. There was no autofocus. You'd look through the viewfinder and turn this little ring on the lens until the image looked sharp. And you had to get it right because if it was out of focus, that photo was ruined. Then you had to think about the lighting. Was it bright enough? Too dark? Did you need a flash? Ah, the flash. Let me tell you about the flash. Early on, we had these things called flashcubes. They were little cube-shaped attachments that went on top of the camera. Each side of the cube had a flash bulb. And here's the thing. Each bulb only worked once. You'd take a photo, the flash would go off with this bright pop, and that bulb was done. Dead. You'd have to rotate the cube to get to the next fresh bulb. 4 sides, 4 flashes. That's all you got. After that, you needed a new flash cube. Later on, we got electronic flashes that were reusable, but those took forever to charge between shots. You'd take a photo, and then you'd have to wait. 10 seconds. 15 seconds. Waiting for that little red light to tell you the flash was ready again. Today, you can take 100 flash photos in a row without thinking about it. Back then, every flash was precious. And here's the biggest difference of all. You couldn't see the photo after you took it. Think about that. You'd line up your shot, make sure everyone was in the frame, press the button, hear the click, and that was it. You had no idea if it turned out. Was everyone smiling? Did someone blink? Was it in focus? Was the lighting okay? You wouldn't know for days. Maybe a week, maybe longer. Every photo was a gamble. Okay, everyone, smile. Say cheese. Click. Did you get it? I think so. Should we take another one just in case? We only have 3 shots left on this roll. We need to save them for the birthday cake. That was the conversation. That was the decision-making process. Today, you take 5 photos in rapid succession, look at them immediately, delete the bad ones, and take 5 more. It takes 10 seconds. Back then, taking one photo was a careful, deliberate act. You'd line everyone up. You'd tell them to stand still. You'd count down. 1, 2, 3. Click. And then you'd just hope it worked out, because you weren't going to know until you got those prints back. Which brings me to the most agonizing part of photography in the old days, the waiting. You'd finish your roll of film, all 24 exposures, carefully taken over weeks or even months. Birthdays, holidays, random family moments, all captured on this one little roll of film. And now you had to get it developed. So you'd take that roll of film to one of a few places. There was the photomat, these little drive-through kiosks and parking lots where you'd hand over your film. Or you'd take it to the drugstore, the grocery store, anywhere that had a photo counter. You'd hand over your film, fill out a little envelope with your name and phone number, and they'd give you a claim ticket. When will they be ready? 3 to 5 business days. 3 to 5 days, sometimes a week, sometimes longer if there was a holiday. And then you'd wait. You'd wait and wonder and hope that some of those photos turned out okay. Because here's the thing. You had no idea what you were getting. Those 24 photos could be amazing, or they could be disasters. You wouldn't know until you picked them up. Today, you take a photo and you know instantly if it's good. You can edit it right there on your phone. You can retake it if you don't like it. Back then, you just had to wait and hope. And let me tell you, that wait was torture, especially if it was an important event. We took all those photos at Sarah's birthday party. I hope they turned out. What if they're all blurry? What if the film didn't load right? What if I had my finger over the lens? These were real fears, because it happened. All the time. You'd get your photos back and discover that half of them were ruined, out of focus, too dark. Someone's thumb in the corner, eyes closed, heads cut off, and there was nothing you could do about it. That moment was gone. You couldn't go back and retake it. That birthday? Over. That vacation? Finished. That once-in-a-lifetime moment? Captured poorly or not at all. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you about what it was like to actually pick up those photos. So you've waited. 3 days. 5 days. A week. Finally, you get the call, or you just go back to check. Your photos are ready. And there was this excitement, this anticipation. You'd drive to pick them up, and your heart would be beating a little faster because you were about to see all those moments you'd captured. You'd hand over your claim ticket, pay your money, and yes, you had to pay for these prints, whether they were good or not, and they'd hand you this envelope. Usually it was a paper envelope, sometimes with the photo company's logo on it, Kodak, Fuji, whatever. And inside that envelope were your prints, 4 by 6 inches, glossy, precious. You wouldn't even wait to get to the car. You'd open that envelope right there at the counter, and you'd start flipping through them. And this is where the real experience of old-school photography happened, because here's what you'd discover. Photo number 1, perfect. Everyone's smiling, it's in focus, the lighting is good, great start. Photo number 2, blurry. Someone moved. The whole thing is just a blur. Photo number 3, your thumb. There's a big flesh-colored blur in the corner because you didn't hold the camera right. Photo number 4, everyone's eyes are closed, every single person. Photo number 5, it's so dark you can barely see anyone. The flash didn't go off or it wasn't strong enough. Photo number 6, someone made a weird face right when you took it. Photo number 7, half of grandma's head is cut off, and on and on. Out of 24 photos, maybe 12 were decent. Maybe 8 were actually good. And if you were lucky, 2 or 3 were great. But you kept them all, every single one, because you paid for them. These weren't free. Each print cost money. So even the bad ones went into the photo album. The blurry ones, the dark ones, the ones where someone's eyes were closed, they all went in. And years later, you'd look through that album and laugh at all the disasters. Look at this one. Uncle Bob's head is completely cut off. This one's so blurry you can't even tell who it is. Why did we keep this one? You can't see anything. But we did. We kept them all. Because photos were precious. Even the bad ones were evidence that the moment happened. Now let me tell you about some specific disasters that happened to everyone. Red eye. Remember red eye? When you took a flash photo and people's eyes would glow red like demons? That happened all the time, and there was nothing you could do about it. Today, there's red eye reduction built into cameras, or you can edit it out in 2 seconds on your phone. Back then, you just had demonic-looking family photos. That's what you got. Double exposures. This happened when the film didn't advance properly. You'd take a photo, but the film didn't move to the next frame, so you'd take another photo on top of the first one. You'd get these weird, ghostly, overlapping images. 2 different moments captured on the same piece of film. Sometimes it looked artistic. Usually it just looked like a mistake. Fingers and thumbs in the shot. This was so common. You'd hold the camera, forget where your fingers were, and boom, there's a big blurry thumb blocking part of the image. We all did it. All of us. Cutting people's heads off. Framing was hard. You'd look through that little viewfinder, think you had everyone in the shot, and then get the photos back and someone's head was cut off at the eyebrows. Today's phones show you exactly what you're capturing. Back then, what you saw in the viewfinder and what ended up on film didn't always match up. Terrible lighting. Indoor photos were always a gamble. Too dark and you couldn't see anything. Flash too bright and everyone looked washed out and ghostly. There was no adjusting the exposure, no HDR, no automatic lighting correction. You got what you got. And here's another thing people forget. You couldn't delete anything. Today, you take a photo, look at it, don't like it, delete it immediately. Gone. Like it never happened. Back then, once you pressed that button, that photo existed. It was on the film. You were getting a print of it whether you wanted it or not. So all your mistakes, all your bad photos, all your unflattering shots, you got prints of all of them. There was no curation before the fact. You curated after, when you decided which ones to put in the album and which ones to stuff in a drawer somewhere, but you still had them, all of them. I remember getting photos back from family vacations and being so disappointed. You'd been to this amazing place, seen incredible things, tried to capture it all on film, and then you'd get the photos back and half of them were terrible. The Grand Canyon photo was underexposed and just looked like a dark hole. The beach sunset was washed out and pale. The family photo at the landmark had strangers walking through it. But you know what? You kept them anyway. Because that was all you had. Those imperfect, flawed, sometimes terrible photos were your only evidence that you'd been there. Today, you can take 500 photos of the Grand Canyon and keep only the 10 best ones. Back then, you took 3 photos and hoped one of them was decent. And let's talk about duplicates. When you picked up your photos, you usually just got one set of prints, one copy of each photo. If you wanted extras, to give to relatives, to have backups, to share with friends, you had to order duplicates, and that cost more money. Or you'd take the negative, those little strips of film that came with your prints, and bring them back to get more copies made. But usually, you just had one copy of each photo. That was it. So if you lost it, or it got damaged, or someone spilled something on it, that photo was gone forever. Today, your photos are backed up to the cloud automatically. You can lose your phone and still have all your photos. Back then, if your house burned down, all your family photos were gone. People kept their photo albums and negatives like they were treasure, because they were. Now, there was one more aspect of old photography that was both wonderful and terrible: the surprise moments. Sometimes you'd get your photos back and discover pictures you'd completely forgotten about. Someone else had used your camera. You'd let a kid take a random shot. You'd taken a photo of something silly or spontaneous. And weeks later, when the film was finally developed, there it was. I forgot we took this. When did we even take this one? Oh my gosh, look how young we were. Those surprise photos were special, because you couldn't just scroll back through your camera roll and see them immediately. They'd been waiting, hidden on that film, until you got them developed. Today, you know exactly what photos you have. You can look at them anytime. There's no mystery, no surprise. Back then, opening that envelope of prints was like Christmas morning. You never knew exactly what you were going to get. So you've got your photos. The good, the bad, and the blurry. Now what? You made a photo album. And I'm not talking about a digital folder on your computer. I'm talking about an actual physical photo album. A book with plastic sleeves or sticky pages where you'd carefully place each photo. This was an event. Making a photo album was something you did with care and intention. You'd spread all your photos out on the table. You'd sort through them. You'd decide which ones were album-worthy and which ones would go in the drawer. Then you'd arrange them in order. Chronologically, usually. All the birthday photos together. All the vacation photos in sequence. And then you'd carefully place each photo in the album. If you had the sticky kind, you'd peel back the plastic sheet, position the photo, press it down, and smooth the plastic back over it. Some people would write captions. Summer 1978. Jenny's 5th birthday. Yellowstone trip. Because here's the thing, you needed those captions. You couldn't just look at the metadata like you can with digital photos. If you didn't write down when and where the photo was taken, you might forget. And these albums? These were cherished items. They sat on coffee tables or bookshelves, and when family came over, you'd pull them out. Look at these pictures from our trip. Everyone would gather around. You'd flip through the pages together. You'd laugh at the bad haircuts and the outdated clothes and the funny poses. Looking at photos was a shared experience, a social activity. Today, you can look at thousands of photos on your phone by yourself. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. It's solitary. Back then, photos were something you looked at together because there was only one physical copy. And here's something interesting. Because we took so few photos, each one felt more important. You might have 20 photos from an entire year. 20 moments captured out of 365 days. So those 20 photos had to represent the whole year. They had to be the important moments, the ones worth remembering. Today, people take 20 photos before breakfast. Is that better? In some ways, yes. We capture so much more of our lives now. We don't miss moments. But in other ways, maybe we've lost something. Because when every moment is photographed, is any moment special? When you've got 10,000 photos on your phone, do you ever look at most of them? Back then, we had less, but we valued it more. You'd look through those photo albums over and over. You'd show them to everyone who visited. You'd remember the stories behind each photo because there were only a few dozen to remember. Today, I bet most of you have thousands of photos you've never looked at since the day you took them. They're just sitting there in your cloud storage, forgotten. We've gained quantity, but maybe we've lost something in terms of quality and meaning. Now, let me tell you about what happened to photos over time. Those old prints would fade, the colors would change, they'd get bent or creased. If they were in an album with sticky pages, sometimes they'd get damaged when you tried to remove them. Photos from the 60s and 70s have this distinctive look now. The colors are muted. There's often a yellow or reddish tint. They look vintage. Today's digital photos don't fade. They look the same in 50 years as they did the day you took them. Is that better? Probably. But there's something charming about those faded old photos. They look like memories. They feel old. Digital photos don't age. They're timeless, which is technologically impressive but maybe a little less romantic. And let's talk about sharing photos. Back then, if you wanted to share photos with someone, you had limited options. You could show them your album when they visited. You could order duplicate prints and mail them. Some people would put photos in actual letters and send them. If grandma lived across the country and wanted to see photos of the grandkids, you'd have to mail them and wait for the mail to arrive and hope they didn't get damaged in transit. Today, you take a photo and instantly share it with people anywhere in the world. Grandma can see the grandkids in real time, no matter where she lives. That's incredible. That's genuinely amazing technology. But here's what's interesting. Back then, when sharing was hard, people valued the photos they received more. Getting photos in the mail was special. You'd stick them on the fridge. You'd carry them in your wallet. You'd frame them and put them on your desk. Today, someone sends you a photo on your phone and you glance at it for 2 seconds and move on. More access, less appreciation. That seems to be the trade-off. Now let me talk about professional photography. Back in the day, there were certain occasions where you'd hire a professional photographer. Weddings, senior portraits, family portraits. You'd go to a studio. You'd dress up nice. You'd pose for formal photos. And this was expensive. Professional photography was a luxury. The photographer would take maybe a dozen shots. You'd come back later to view the proofs. You'd select which ones you wanted printed, and then you'd pay quite a bit of money for those prints. But you treasured them. You'd frame them. You'd give them as gifts. These weren't casual snapshots. These were official family portraits. Today, anyone with a smartphone can take reasonably good photos. Professional photography still exists, but it's not as essential as it used to be. Your phone can do things that would have required thousands of dollars of equipment back in the day. Portrait mode that blurs the background. That used to require an expensive lens. HDR that balances lighting. That used to require professional expertise. Panorama shots. That used to require special equipment or taking multiple photos and hoping you could line them up. Now it's all automatic, built into a device you carry in your pocket. That's remarkable. That's genuinely amazing. But here's my question. Are we better at photography now, or do we just take more photos? Back then, people thought carefully before pressing the shutter. They considered composition, lighting, framing. They had to, because each shot was precious. Today, people take 50 photos and hope one of them turns out good. We've traded skill for quantity. Is that bad? Not necessarily. It means more moments are captured, more memories are preserved. But it also means we're less thoughtful, less intentional. Back then, the limitations made us better photographers. We had to think about what we were doing. Today, the technology is so good that we don't have to think at all. Point and click. The camera does the rest. And here's the biggest difference of all. Photos used to be about memory, about preserving moments so you could look back on them later. Today, photos are often about sharing, about showing other people what you're doing right now. We take photos for social media more than we take them for ourselves. Back then, you took a photo at a special event because you wanted to remember it. Today, people take photos at events to prove they were there, to show everyone else. The purpose has changed. Is one better than the other? I don't know. They're just different. But I will say this. There was something special about the old way. The anticipation of waiting for your photos. The excitement of opening that envelope. The disappointment of the bad shots and the joy of the good ones. The careful curation of your photo album. The shared experience of looking at photos together. The fact that each photo was rare and therefore valuable. We've lost that, and we've gained so much else. Instant gratification. Unlimited shots. The ability to share immediately. Professional quality results with zero expertise. Today is better in almost every measurable way. But sometimes I miss the magic of not knowing, of waiting, of being surprised, of having just 24 chances to capture a whole vacation and making every single one of them count. Today you can delete your mistakes instantly. Back then, your mistakes became part of the story. That blurry photo, that one with your thumb in it, that one where everyone's eyes are closed, those ended up in the album too. And years later, they're the ones you laugh about. The imperfections made it real. Today's photos are often too perfect, too edited, too curated. Back then, photos were honest. They showed reality, warts and all. And maybe that's what I miss most. So here's what I want you to think about. You've got incredible technology in your pocket. A camera that would have cost thousands of dollars and required professional training to use 40 years ago. You can take unlimited photos. You can see them instantly. You can edit them, share them, store them forever. That's amazing. Use it. Enjoy it. But maybe, just maybe, be a little more intentional. Don't take 50 photos of the same thing. Take one or two good ones. Don't just scroll past the photos on your phone. Actually look at them. Print some of them. Make an album, even a digital one. Share them with people in person, not just on social media. And remember that the goal of a photo isn't perfection. It's memory. It's capturing a moment so you can look back on it and remember how you felt. Back then we had 24 chances per roll, and we made them count. Today, you have unlimited chances. Make them count anyway. Thanks for watching. If this brought back memories, share this with someone who remembers waiting a week to see their photos. And hey, maybe go dig out those old photo albums, look through them, remember those moments. Because those imperfect, faded, sometimes terrible photos, they're proof that you were there, that those moments happened. And that's what really matters. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses.